Good evening, friends. Sunday night. Just enjoying the last few minutes of freedom before Monday morning comes. I read a couple articles the other day, actually it was a couple weeks ago, and I was thinking about them a lot, and they just struck me as, I guess more than anything, pretty sad. And so I thought I'd do a video and just talk about them. I'd love to hear what some of your guys' perspective are, some from the older generation, some of what you guys that are closer to my age think. There are articles about millennials and how they think about marriage. Smoking some shortcut to mushrooms, and I'm really liking it. The first bowl I had of it was just amazing. I thought it was the best thing ever. Second bowl, not so much. And this will be my third, and it's a lot closer to the first time I tried it. So I'm not sure about that second time. Maybe it was just the pipe that I was smoking it in. But yeah, this is pretty good right now. I'll put some links to the two articles that I'm talking about in the bucket below. One was they're both just opinion pieces. One was on CNN, and one I think was from, I don't know, some radio station, I think. The one on CNN I think was entitled The Marriage Apocalypse, and the other one is titled 5 Reasons Marriage Doesn't Work for Millennials. He's talking about how marriage is just like a broken concept, and how millennials, people my age, are just giving it up altogether. Some of the things that were written, and not so much that I have a problem with the author's perspective, but I guess just the perspective of people that are my age. Maybe I'm just weird, but I think marriage is awesome. A month ago, my wife and I just celebrated our 6th anniversary. We got married, I was 21 and she was 19. Maybe we're just the crazy ones, I don't know. I think not, though. So let me read to you some of the quotes that I read in these articles. I wrote them down so I would remember. The marriage apocalypse may be coming. Here's a quote from a 21-year-old girl. I didn't go to college for 4 years to be a mom. There's no housewife's degree. I worked my butt off for 4 years to get this degree. You know, you want to use it. You want to be successful. You want to be successful. You want to have that happy part of your life as well. Now, when she says that she wants to have that happy part of her life as well, I'm not sure if she's referring to marriage or her career, or I don't know, but it sounds like marriage and the whole idea of being a wife, or being a mother for that case, sounds like a burden, a hindrance to her. From another girl, I don't think you need a wedding ring to prove you love someone. I would rather be alone, successful, and happy than in a relationship where I'm not happy. I'm okay being single forever as long as I'm happy. It's like all about her, her, her. And it's all about like right now. If this doesn't make me happy, or if this doesn't make me happy right now, then it's not worth the trouble. It's like, when I read that, I just thought, well, where's the other person involved in this imaginative relationship? And nowhere. Just absent. And absent is probably a good word to describe the sort of marriage that girl might have, if that's the way she thinks about things. If it's not gonna make me happy, if you're going into a marriage and your whole mindset is, how is this gonna make me happy? Yeah, I think you are setting yourself up for failure. It just seemed like so much of what they were talking about, both the author and the people being interviewed, was about the economics of marriage. It's not profitable. Why should I get married? We're all in so much debt this age that getting married doesn't seem like any sense. Why should I inherit somebody else's debt? Why should I bring my debt into another relationship? Finances just get in between people. In the CNN article, the author mentioned a study that shows that marriage correlates with economic well-being. However you measure well-being, I don't know, but and then the author noted, but is that because of marriage that people are better off, or are better off people more likely to get married? And I thought about it, and though it's probably hard to say anything definitively, but when I got married, I didn't get married to make me happy. I was happy, I was in love. But what I was looking forward to was loving this girl. And to spend my life loving her. It wasn't about me, about what I could get. And so when I think about marriage that way, my own marriage, I think, yeah, we're better off today financially than either of us would be if we hadn't gotten married. Because for me personally, I'm a single guy. What am I going to do? I'm going to spend my money on my hobbies, on traveling, on doing different stuff. But when I'm married, my goals are different. My perspective is to love my wife, to see her better off. And so I put aside those things, not begrudgingly, but I put them aside so that I can focus on the well-being of my family. I go to school, I try to better myself so that I can provide, so I can give good gifts to my wife, so that we can have a nice place to live. So when you have a marriage where the two people are not thinking of themselves, but thinking of how they can better the other person, how they can satisfy the other person, how they can bring delight to them, a natural consequence or natural byproduct of that is their well-being, is the well-being of both the people. And part of that well-being would be a financial well-being. But apparently even the person who did the study commented and said, well, we don't know why that is, but logically, if there's two adults and then they're both making incomes and those incomes are shared, well, that's where the financial well-being comes from. But I don't think that makes much sense. If you have two adults and they're separate, that's still two incomes for two adults, whether they're together or not. So how does 1 plus 1 equal more than 2 in marriage? And since when did we equate riches with well-being? I guess that might be the topic for another chat, but it just seems like the whole mindset is a little askewed. And part of that shows itself in the thinking that well-being means wealthy. There's a lot more that goes into well-being than just being well off. I mean, it's no secret that rich people are less satisfied than people that don't have as much wealth. What else did they write? Oh, they also said, well, maybe it's because people with more money are more desirable marriage prospects. Then again, I'm not surprised your marriage is failing if you're looking for someone to marry and their financial standing counts for so much of the equation of should I marry this person or not. In the comments below the article, there were some interesting things that were written. A lot of negative things about marriage. One person wrote, quote, partnership, loyalty, romance, these things don't need marriage and often have nothing to do with it. I thought, man, that's so sad. And a lot of talk about marriage as just being a piece of paper. A lot of people saying, I don't need marriage to prove that I love someone. And the whole time I'm thinking, marriage doesn't prove, it's not the proof of your love. A piece of paper is not the end goal. Marriage is a tool. Marriage is an institution. I don't know what, I guess people my age don't think of marriage as an institution. You know, institutions belong to serve a purpose, right? You think of like the postal service. It serves a purpose. A library, your local library. It's not there just for the sake of the library. It's there to serve a purpose, right? It's like the library has a goal. The spreading knowledge, the free access to knowledge that changes lives. You don't need a library to prove anything. It's there to serve to serve a purpose. And the same thing for marriages. Marriage isn't the end, the goal. It's a tool. It's a gift given to us to help us in loving that one person. Oh, listen to this sad comment. This guy wrote, fastest way to totally destroy your life, get married. Second fastest way, have kids. To anyone reading this and in the process of making a decision regarding either of those two topics, slow down. Live your life. Don't saddle yourself with stress, more debt, and children who will ultimately only disrespect you and walk all over you anyway, no matter how good you are to them. Do yourself a favor. Listen to the article. Do what's right for you, not everyone else. Go ahead, be selfish. I wish I would have been, but I went ahead and destroyed my life. Oh my gosh. That's so sad. I hear a lot of pain. I hear a very hurt person when I read a comment like that. And I just can't help but wonder, is like, man, I wish I would have been selfish, but instead I went ahead and destroyed my life. And I think, well, you probably were selfish, and that's how you destroyed your life. The other article, 5 reasons marriage doesn't work anymore. I'll just shortly read the 5 reasons. He provided a lot of detail under these 5 points, but one was no sex. And I'm thinking, dude, you didn't have any sex when you got married? Like, alright, you're doing something wrong. Finances cripple us. 3 was entitled something like, we're more connected than ever, and we're more disconnected. Which sort of goes on with number 5, which was, there's no privacy anymore because of social media. It's giving reasons why marriage doesn't work. And the whole time I'm thinking is like, you're doing it wrong. Don't blame the tool. And number 4 was something about our desire for attention is greater than our desire to be loved. And the whole thing just rubbed me the wrong way. Couldn't believe what I was reading, and I guess that's the way people think. That's the way people my age think, and I can't help but think that I'm the only one that thinks that it's just like completely crazy. I'd really love to hear what you guys have to think about this. When I was thinking about those articles, I was just thinking, you know, right now in America and across the whole world, there are thousands, there are millions of people possibly that are fighting for the right to get married. Whether should have let this dry out a little more. So people are, at the same time this is going on, people are fighting for the right to get married. They're not fighting for the right to have a piece of paper They're fighting because they realize that marriage is a valuable tool. It's something to be desired. It's something that's going to help you in your path, because loving someone with your whole life is a hard thing to do. Loving people is a risky business, and we need help to do it. That's why we have marriage. It's not to burden you. It's not to give you certain rights, visiting rights or whatnot, or tax for tax purposes. The so-called constraints of marriage are there to help us in loving our spouse. And just because there's so many failed marriages doesn't mean marriage is broken. Maybe it means that people are doing it wrong, or they're thinking of marriage in the wrong way. Or it's like, if I say marriage is a tool, I think of like, we'll take our pipe tool that we use when we smoke, right? It's designed for a specific purpose. And if I'm trying to do something else with that pipe tool, if I'm trying to, I don't know, pick a lock, my pipe tool, my tamper, isn't going to be very useful. Does that mean my tamper is broken and I should just throw it out and say, screw this, this obviously isn't working. Didn't work for my parents' generation. So many failed marriages. If you're using the wrong tool for a project, or you're using a tool for the wrong purpose, for something it's not designed for, what's going to be the outcome? At very best, the outcome, say you're making a pipe and you're trying to just use like a butter knife to carve your pipe. At very best, it's going to take you so much longer, it's going to cause you so much pain, so much frustration, and at very best, the product that you produce is going to be infinitely inferior to the product that would have been if you used the correct tools. In most cases, in almost all of them, you're going to end up with a destroyed product. It's going to be a waste. And in the case of marriages, we're talking about wasted lives. Your lives, your spouse's wife, your children's maybe. My parents were divorced. I know the pain that it caused. It just seems like the whole idea of loving someone else and giving yourself over to that goal, that purpose, that mission of loving another person is completely absent. So of course, marriage, the tool that's designed to help you accomplish that incredibly difficult yet joyous task, is not going to work. It's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. More than anything, I just think it's so sad. I think marriage is a beautiful thing. I think the love that stands behind the marriage is like a beautiful treasure, something that's worth a life's work, a life's search for that treasure, and the digging and the finding and the digging that's involved to uncover, to cultivate that love. I'm grateful for my marriage. Anyways, I guess that's it. I'm having trouble keeping this thing lit, but Alright guys, it's getting late. I better get to bed. I'd really love to hear any of your comments or what you think about this topic, or if there's other young people out there that are in their 20s or whatever, what do you guys think about marriage? You're going to wait till you're 40? You're just going to give it up altogether? And you older people, maybe you've been through a marriage or two. Maybe you're still married to your spouse. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about this. So I'd love to see some VRs. If you guys want to make a video response, I'd love to see it. Or you can just type a little short comment or whatever. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys watching and listening. Till next time, ciao.